that you're right. All right. Sip and chat on a Friday night. Sip and chat, sip and chat. We need a song.
I was gonna say you need
Hey, how about we hold a contest for someone to create us a song?
That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really great. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea. So we have to make sure we mention that once we get some folks on the line, that we got some kind of contest going on to get our intro show. But I guess on our check-in moments, how we living, how we sipping. What's up, Doc?
Oh, we living well this week.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Things are calming down. Things are looking good. Looking good. And
How
tonight I am sipping on a pale ale.
okay, L, L,
okay.
L.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
won't endorse a brand or anything, but
Absolutely,
yes,
right.
it's a pale
Right.
ale. You know,
We need to get some sponsorship before we start
yes,
endorsing all
exactly.
these folks.
Exactly. I like a nice beer every now and then, and I like to try different ones. So this is a nice little pale ale.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
On the mellow.
Yes.
Queen April.
Yes,
What
yes.
you got going on?
Oh, everything is everything. A
Oh.
little bit of that. Chilling.
That sound urban-licious.
This week has been less eventful, but still productive. So I'm cool with that.
Cool.
I'm mellowing out tonight with a martini, apple.
Ooh.
So.
Okay. You got the
Okay.
martini glass
Who
and
knows
everything.
what y'all
It
might
almost look empty.
Shh.
Oh, my bad.
I started drinking back, in the green room.
Oh, you're right. It goes down in the green room before and
That's
after.
right.
If it only knew.
Look, let me fill up to make it look like.
Yes. Campalicious, how you living?
Good. I'm good now. Look, you're not gonna be in my background. You're either gonna be quiet or move.
That's the Campalicious talk.
So it's been a long week. So, but good. So I am sipping on Celestial Seasonings. Zinger. Yeah.
Okay. Lemon zinger?
No, the raspberry one.
The raspberry zinger?
Raspberry
Okay.
zinger, and it actually has sugar in it, but gluten-free sugar, of course. But it's good.
Cool. I didn't share. I had to pour it into a nice glass since they had me on skates, and I haven't been on skates in a minute. So I'm enjoying some punch and rum. Rums and punch. Because since we can't say the name, I would have said the name since we said we're not endorsing names that haven't endorsed us yet.
I'm sorry if I decided to endorse my tea.
It's okay. There he is, the troublemaker.
Just in time.
Hi, troublemaker.
God, you look very festive today.
Hello, I am. It's a party. I'm a party.
Well, then party on and tell us how you're living this week. And we know you're sipping something like green or clear or hydratable.
Protein. I got protein shake. Nice protein shake.
Okay.
Corny.
Getting my yeah. It's all corny until the shirt come off.
Oh Lord.
Right.
Whatever. Take it off. Let's see. Show the audience. Never mind.
You're gonna have your DM blowing up already. Like
exactly.
Take the shirt off. We're gonna have to charge for that too, Doc.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're gonna have to charge for that. Yeah. So, and you know how it goes down in the green room before and after. I just want to bring you up to speed, and maybe Doc could talk about a little bit more if I leave something out. But we was thinking we needed an intro song.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that we should invite our guests to submit some intro songs for us.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think a contest is in order.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And we can air them. You know, I might have to learn some of these buttons that's down at the bottom of the screen, but I'm okay. I can do that. We can air them and people can participate. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I'm down.
You down?
Tell them the second part of it.
Oh, tell them the second part, April, because I forgot.
Yeah, the second part was once we have our intro, Daryl, you would have to dance to it.
So, what kind of show we doing here?
He's
made for that.
What kind
And
of
it's
show?
a
Definitely made for that. He'll want to dance to it.
And it's a chat.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
Now, is that the prize?
No,
Or is that for the losers?
Oh, the dance.
Yeah, what we doing? What we doing dance for? Is there going to be a tip button involved? So we have a tip button on screen.
We'll have that donate screen. We'll do
had
that.
a donate screen.
Yeah. Or I can put my Cash App up.
There you go.
No, I think that had to be Doc's Cash App or my Cash App, and then we give you what we think it was. You know,
That's right.
how
That's
well
right.
it worked out.
Woo! Oh, okay.
Daryl will take it.
Pimping ain't
Be
easy.
sub-
Pimping ain't easy.
Be submissive.
Yeah, be submissive. That's what you said earlier this week, right?
I said about myself. I don't remember saying that.
Oh, you're gonna be
I don't remember saying
submissive?
that.
You really didn't say it about
Daryl
yourself.
being submissive.
We just poured that into you real quick.
So I'll have a front seat for that one.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
What'd you say, Kim? You don't have a what?
Oh, I'll have a front seat for that. That's
Oh, right,
Good.
right. Because you've been in the green room and saw the dance, right?
No, she wasn't there.
Oh, no, you
Oh.
wasn't there.
Well, he's
Wasn't
danced
there.
You
more
were
than
there on
wait a minute.
speakerphone.
Wait a minute, he's danced more than once.
I
Oh, you're
did.
right.
No,
He's danced
Oh,
more
no.
than once.
I did not.
That's
Hey,
why
don't-
he's the perfect person to do the dance.
Don't tell them what goes on behind the scenes.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Gotta make them charge extra for that.
All right, you're right. They got pay admission. They got.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt your DMs.
Oh God, you heard him, Camp. Though he said, "Wait till the jacket come off, then it's all."
That jacket probably does need to come off, but it's okay.
Listen, depending on how many viewers we get tonight, what y'all want to see? Call your
Okay, so
friends.
let's say for how many views we get tonight. Then the
Call
jacket
your
to come off.
friends. Absolutely, call your friends.
We need to share it to our other pages and tell a friend.
Okay. Okay.
That's a
I
shame.
got some-
We
I
should
got
not
some
be
friends out
auctioning
there.
off our only brother on the show.
Well,
He likes it. He likes it.
He
he
does.
does. He set himself up.
Does. I done went to the
I
consciousness.
work out for a reason.
Ooh.
I'm glad you do.
Okay, so on that note, I'll put you on the spot again then, for a reason. Daryl, or is it which Daryl we got now? We got the frisky Daryl or the Daryl?
Go ahead, I'm listening. What is going on? Hi,
Can
how's
you-
everyone doing?
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
You
my
got
gosh.
your
You
cup of
have
tea?
voice.
I'm well. How's everyone?
We're doing great. We're so great. How are you doing?
It's marvelous.
I'm doing well. I'm doing
I'm
well.
so glad that you're doing well. I can see it all over your face.
We are bugging.
You're shining.
It's glowing, isn't it?
Glowing, yes. The smile, the hair, no do-rag this week. What's going on?
It's written all over my face.
Oh.
Ah,
You did your special knock. You did
No,
your
he
special
didn't
knock.
do it yet. He didn't do
It's up.
it like that
Hey.
yet.
it's the energy in the room. It's just it's a great into the week.
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting to see your face.
Yeah,
Oh, everybody's
it's-
face.
Yeah,
You know.
you heard her. You heard her.
We did,
Yeah.
girl. We
We
did.
did. So is there any current events that we want to check in and status check how the world is? There's some things that happened this week in the world. I don't know. Whatever y'all want to.
Michelle Obama's hair. That's what happened this week in the world. It was
I need to know what
outfit.
company
It was
she bought
like-
her situation from.
What? I'm sorry. What happened? Her
Say it again?
situation?
I said I need to know what company she bought her situation from.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
a private designer, right? We talking
Probably.
about her.
Mhm. Them big rolls, them big curls that didn't move nowhere.
Listen, they stayed the whole day. No
It
matter
was
what
all
she did, they
flawless.
didn't go.
Well, Well, her stylist that does her hair is based out of DC, and she did her hair through the 2 terms. And Michelle Obama decided to stay with her, but they said her Instagram, everything has been lighting up even more. So people call and set appointments, a whole nine.
Wow.
Oh, that's right.
She did her thing.
Yes, she did.
Definitely.
Yeah, she earned all her coins, and she about to get some more.
Mhm.
Some people might just go
I
to
agree.
DC just to get their hair done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just need to know the company. My stylist could rock out the rest. I might have to put it on layaway for like a month and a half or 2 months.
Yeah.
I
But
might just have to get a weave.
I don't mind with a weave, but I'm just saying it might have to be a weave on layaway because some hair be outside your budget.
It does. Well, I don't even know what weave is now, like how much it costs nowadays. I got lots, but
Too much.
I'm here to inform you. Different grades. It go up. It go up. It go up. It's mentioned in my book. It go up. If you stay low, your hairstyle ain't gonna stay long. It won't do no Michelle Obama. Nah. A little chin wing store. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
what you say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
I think I heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it. I can see her face
I'm gonna
expression.
keep it tucked in.
So back to the question I had for Daryl, because we had digressed. So we good with community events, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Daryl, can you share the types of intimacy that you shared last time? Because we talking about intimacy blockers again with a twist. Wrong one. Intimacy blockers with a twist and looking at emotional wellness and spirituality.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see.
That's the conversation for this Sips and Chat.
I'd have to go get my other phone.
Oh,
Damn,
okay.
we got 2
Oh,
phones.
you got 2
Oh,
phones?
did I say that?
Hey.
Yeah, you did. So who's calling whom?
He calling himself.
No.
We should be
Special-
probably calling Daryl as the president.
Got the special
Okay.
phone, the special phone for special people.
Okay,
That's
Play
not
up.
a simple phone,
It's a mess.
No, I have another phone. I have
Oh,
phones. I
man.
had all my stuff in there. Hold on, I go grab it.
All right. So last week we talked about intimacy blockers and we got through some stuff. Doc, you remember what we got through?
Touch that door, and you
I think we kind of touched on a lot of different things.
We did. That's what I'm trying to remember
And we did
specifically.
briefly
No,
touch
you're
on
not going outside.
emotional, spiritual, ever so lightly. We talked about physical health. We talked a little bit about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
We went off topic a lot.
Like just now.
That's a norm.
But it was beneficial.
Subtopics. It was
Yes,
subtopics. Yes, we can do subtopics.
yes.
Yes.
But I think we actually touched on just about all of the different types of blockers there are. And I think we want to take the opportunity now to just go in deeper on some of the ones we mentioned last week.
Adding the mental health and the spiritual aspect.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Daryl, you got the types of intimacy?
Hold on. They're waiting for the phone to come on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a
charged.
phone.
I mean, we could start, and then Daryl could
Well, yeah,
chime
we
in
definitely-
with what we
so-
forget.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
We're definitely talk about the spiritual and emotional, right? The spiritual and emotional.
I put emotional wellness, so people don't like that M word.
Gotcha.
Right. It's the same thing, but So, I'm sorry, we done played around so much.
So spiritual. Well, I can speak like the spirituality part of it. That's something that personally I'm dealing with a lot right now. In the sense that a lot of times people are on different levels. So when I'm coming in saying, listen, I'm not trying to do this, and this yet. some people don't receive that well.
Mm.
And it's been more of a struggle than I thought. Like people really like, yo, like why are we not doing such and such? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to, walk a little bit better, follow this word, and it's not allowing the relationship to go further because they have more of a physical need.
Well, they keep looking at the glistening of your muscles, and they like, okay.
I know. See,
it's the hair. It's the hair.
This Samson over here. Listen, I'm like, listen, don't get caught up in all this. I'm more than this.
Right, you are.
You are.
So,
I'm glad. Yes.
But no, really, right now, it's been weird for me because I'm like, wow. It's like it seems like it's such a turn off to some of the women lately that I don't want to be physical right now first. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to. I said I made that mistake so many times. It really hasn't worked. So I'm gonna try something different. I'm trying to move away from the sand and saying
vibrating higher.
We keep doing this. We keep doing it, and it hasn't worked for me. So let me try something different. And as I'm trying something different, it seems like they want the old thing that was, it seems like it's more of a challenge for them to try now for it to happen. It's so weird right now. But
it's a matter of connecting in the mind, though, like having a connection around other things that you maybe have of interest, of shared interest.
Well, see, not to cut you off, that we kind of get there. Like the last person we talked, we had a great communication. We loved hanging out. But she was ready. Her next step was, well, let's, get down and get busy. My next step was like, let's continue to get close. Let's continue to do this this way. So what it was that she felt the next step was to progress to a more physical relationship. And mine was, I just wasn't there for the physical part right now. And that was the problem. And we were good. Like communication was great. We liked doing things. She actually, inspired me to do some different things. And I was like, yo, we're pushing each other. Like it was a real dope, but that sexual part was so strong for her and so strong for me that we were on opposite ends. Yeah. We just couldn't last.
Because for some people, that's how they think you show you care.
Yes.
Or relate.
And she really
and that's some people's main love language. Like they don't really understand the rest of them that help make that like phenomenal fireworks. Like they just think that is the firework.
She kept saying you're rejecting me. I feel like you're rejecting me. And I'm like, I'm not. I said, actually, I'm showing you more respect by not, in my eyes, by me not doing that. I think it's showing you a little bit more respect. But she was like, no, you're rejecting. You don't want me. There's something wrong with me. Like, why don't you? And I'm like, I really didn't have those answers. And then for me, I didn't want to keep being tempted every day. Like, every day the clothes got tighter and shorter. And it's like, it's only so long.
She's like, you're going to take this.
It's only so much. It's like,
and I'm like, I just can't. I'm really trying to be, I'm really trying to fast from that part. I'm trying to, so it just did end up that, and everything I thought was great, but that was something that I couldn't compromise on right now. It's just something I can't. So it was really a blocker in the sense that we just were, at different places.
I love the growth. That's what's up.
Trying something
I'm
different.
a non-believer.
I mean, you said you're not what?
I said I'm a non-believer.
I was getting ready to share how I had a similar experience at one point. But I was actually in the relationship and made that decision that I no longer wanted to have intimacy in the relationship. And yeah, I think I mentioned it before. Like they will come out the shower because we actually lived together. They would come out the shower and just walk around as if I was supposed to say yes. And I was like, no, I'm committed. Like I'm good. And it was very, very difficult for, I guess, in my case, the man to receive that. As well as it was a change in the relationship. You're saying that it hadn't even been tried, so it's a different scenario. But when you're committed to that level of spiritual connection, then it usually works out best for you.
Yeah, and even though it was a different scenario, the mindset of the other person can be very similar. Like, why are you rejecting me? Why don't you want me?
Right.
What's wrong with me? And in Mary, in your case, because it might have been done before, it could lead to even more another thought of, man, I must have been bad at it. Like, why can't we do this again?
Should we just shut it down?
Yes.
Oh, I just think sometimes people are not ready for that. They haven't gotten to that point yet and thought to that degree of level. I feel like when that piece is being worked on, you're really working on yourself. It's not about anybody else. Like, you're just really becoming healthier as a whole person, like heart, mind, body, soul, everything. So yeah, because when I went through that, I didn't hold no bars. It was the same for everybody. So, the next person, oh, it's gonna be different because I'm such and such. No, I'm sticking to it. And I feel like it focuses you on, like, my whole plan is, I was real young, but my whole mindset was, I'm graduating in 3 years. School is getting too expensive. I'm graduating. I'm trying to have a career. I'm trying to buy my house, get my apartment. That's what I was focused on. Like, so if you were talking something else, I guess we can go have some tea. At that point, is I don't know. So I didn't I didn't try to talk people out of how they felt about it, because I couldn't change their feelings. But I do know in that period of like 3.5, 4 years, I had like 8 or 9 boyfriends. The next girlfriend they end up marrying. So some of the wives I was friends with, and I was okay with that. And they're like, you got invited to a wedding. I said, yeah. I'm not trying to do that right now. I'm just trying to focus on me and get better. So I think, yeah, it can be a learning experience.
But it is about, it's not, I don't know if it's actually, well, I guess it is an intimacy blocker, because I remember another season in my life, in my young years, because I'm still young, that I did a 4-year sabbatical and doing sexologist work, and colleagues asking, well, how are you doing all this work and you getting all people all riled up, and then you going home and you fine? Like, because I'm fine. Like, my intention is focused on what is focused on, and to me that's a distraction to the bigger goal that I had, both spiritually and professionally. And I was like, I no longer want to be a jump off. I no longer, like, it was like a decision, and I just functioned in that intentionality space and was solid for 4 years.
And I think it does also weed out the people that's not really meant for you at the moment. So yeah.
For sure.
You done did a whole bunch of deep what's that?
I just don't necessarily think it weeds anybody out. I think people are just different places at different times. And
they're not supposed to be in your season.
Right.
What I mean is, just because I meet you and I want to take you down, don't mean that I don't want to eventually be with you. Like sex isn't the barometer to what's going to happen or not happen for at the end of the day, unless you let it be. So sex is a part of a relationship that it holds its weight, but I think it holds too much weight sometimes. We put too much pressure on it. And that's when it becomes a game. It becomes the game, and it's like, now I worked so hard to get it, now I got it, now I'm good. Because we didn't put so much emphasis on it, like, wait 90 days, or girl, don't do this, and you should do that. That's all, like, now we're making it such a game, we're making it such a thing that it just, now becomes something to obtain at some point. It's like, all right, and then once you beat that level, then what do? I did all this to get this. Now I'm here. Now I'm going on to my next game. I think we just, we have to weight it correctly. It's not the end all be all, and that's what it seems like a lot of the time.
And it's not always too directed by a spiritual compass either. Like, if someone is deciding to just withdraw or not have that as a part of their relationship. I mean, it on some level, we're spiritual beings, no matter if we're intentionally about it or not. But if someone's saying, well, it's not because I read somewhere in this book is telling me to do this that I'm doing it. It's just maybe just a decision that you make at that course of your life. And if that's where our relationship is going to be the rubber hitting the road, and we're not going to be on the same page anymore, that's a different conversation. You waving by, Camp?
It's just a bye-bye moment.
But it may not always be a bye-bye moment. It might be more of the partner understanding what is the purpose and what is the purpose of why you are choosing this part of your life to be in silence. Because you may be in a healing space,
Right, that's what I was gonna say. I think also some people can't take it, even if they understand why you're doing it. They just can't deal.
Right.
So
They can't respect your
yes,
decision,
or
and that's
they
tough.
just uneasy about it because they're not getting what they want. I
Mhm.
think sometimes even if they do understand it, they're like, well, that's not what I want for my life. Well, I guess the rubber has met the road, and
Right.
we have to part. We still be friends,
Right.
but I've been in kind of situation with somebody, and then I guess when we were both ready to come to back to the situation, it still didn't work out.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So at that point, yeah, you just never know.
Mhm. And then, the other part is that sometimes if we're talking about sexual intimacy specifically, sexual intimacy can be interrupted by a medical concern that you haven't really addressed the total medical concern and all the capacity of which it interferes. And when the fact that you're not looking at probably diabetes or high blood pressure or even cancer, and it's other things too, but like those three, they have a significant impact on your availability emotionally and physically, to be intimate in that way, or to have the stamina and endurance that you had at one point, or even for your body to perform to prepare you for that moment,
Mhm.
depending on the
Mhm.
medical concern.
Medical, or even medical or mental, depending on where you are in your headspace.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Worrying about something, stressing about something, can definitely throw you off your game.
Mhm.
Um, and once you get off your game a little bit, then you really get in the way of yourself because now you're worrying about performing. Now you have almost like performance anxiety, which is like, is it going to work this time? It's going to work this time. So now you're talking yourself out of it, and now you get deeper and deeper in the hole, and now nothing's working. And depending on your communication, if you're not really, even if you are talking to the person, it's really still tough for you to get out of that space because you got to get out of your own way. To allow that to happen, and that can really, and that can start affecting other areas because you're not really feeling if you're not feeling good about yourself because this is not working. Now you're down, you might be more angry, depressed, whatever the case may be, and that echoes throughout your whole relationship. That makes you might
Mhm.
start withdrawing from the relationship, pulling away, staying at work later because you don't want to go home and deal with that situation. That can really have an effect to
Mhm.
end, almost causing the relationship to end if you're not strong enough.
If you're not strong enough, and it's like in some cases, hey Dorico, in some
What up,
cases,
Del? Sorry.
Hey,
and that's okay. In some cases, like the medical capacity is something that people need to, I don't want to say need to, that sound like a demand, and that's not my intention to create it as a demand. But if you're committed to being with this person, then it also is the responsibility to maybe go to the doctor's office with them to learn all of the side effects, all of the things we need to do differently. Because if you're a person who experiences fibromyalgia, you may mind-wise be able to get to that intimate moment, but to where the way they used to hug you or touch your body in certain parts, if that's where the nerve ending is impacted, you're gonna be like, ouch, that hurts. And they'll think it don't really hurt. You just don't want me to touch you. But if you
Okay.
go to the doctor's office and you learn that that is a sensitive thing, that you guys can be intimate, but this is how it's going to shift and how it's going to look differently, then that's something to consider, as opposed to, what people usually do is when their feelings get hurt that you didn't appreciate them in an intimate situation, then they begin to degrade their partner and not really taking the moment to say, okay, let me understand what is your journey. Because cancer brings in a whole nother situation.
Yes.
Well, I just read something about Rona where it also has the same effect where it's
Cousin
now
Rona?
yes, not allowing
Ah,
people to perform. Um,
okay.
Wow.
yeah, that's something that came out in the study. Um, and it's like I said, but we have to first be able to talk to our partners to kind of let them in before they go to the doctors because they don't know we're going to the doctors.
Right.
Then they can't be involved. So we have to be secure enough in our relationship to say, hey, look, this is what's going on. I would like you to go so we can learn about this together.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
I think that'd be a very tough conversation.
I think if you're used to talking about your partner about everything else, I don't see it could be hard, but I feel as though there would be some type of understanding there to some degree.
I don't see. I'm just saying if that was it was kind of new. I think for a man, I can't speak for anybody else. I would think that'd be very traumatizing
It could
for
be.
me not to perform. After performing for so long at such a high level,
That
to
is
not
traumatizing.
not perform now, I think it'd be very difficult. Because men were prideful anyway. To begin with.
Right? Yeah.
And that's often the reason why the people come into counseling for that, because of that pride. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, and I'm about to say that pride as a man sometimes will get in the way of everything, and we will, instead of talking about it, everything else we'll just put things in front of it to try not to be in that situation, right? I just know that would be a very, and I think I'm a pretty, like, I like to talk and I'm pretty open. I don't know if I could have that conversation, Exactly. We're crushed if we can't perform. So I can't see us really being, really, we might be going to the doctor for 3 months and, not tell you, because it's just a very difficult conversation to have. So maybe some men can, I know I can't speak for everybody, but I know that would be a very, very tough conversation. It would take a while, I think, for it to come out. I just would feel that way, and I can't. I gather would have something like that.
Right. Because even April, what you got? You like listening? You like this?
Well, I'm thinking about what Daryl was saying. I'm thinking that because, and I don't want to push the blame on men, but because they don't have those conversations, and because the pride does disrupt or come into, because of their pride, they it could cause other problems. The controversy, the arguments,
are they capable? What's their purpose? She gonna go cheat?
Okay.
She gonna find another way to get it done. I'm gonna walk in and see all these toys on the bed.
And instead of just confronting the problem, I just force What are you laughing at? Because I said it's a problem?
I think they laughing at me saying the toys on the bed.
Well, I just see that's probably a reason, or for most of the relationships failing, or having to lead to therapy, because men, instead of just talking about it, they run away from the problem. And again, I'm not trying to push blame, but the pride.
That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing is blaming them.
I think women do it as well, though. I mean, I do know that women do it as well. So I mean, like if a woman has
well, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because, Daryl, you use yourself not yourself, but a male as an example. Mm-hmm. So that and I'm not naive. It does happen to women as well. Mm-hmm. Stress, medical conditions, whatever the case may be.
Postpartum.
Right, especially postpartum. It happens a lot. I believe in postpartum.
Mm-hmm. A history of emotional trauma, a history of physical trauma, history of sexual trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my point is, the more that we don't talk about it, it just lingers, and it just causes additional problems.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, and I don't know, but I think. And this is a question. I think women have sex a lot more just because a man wants to, from my understanding, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Like, do women have sex more a lot of times? Like, they'll do it just because the man wants to. Is that true? I hear that a lot.
I think that's true.
Okay. I think that's true to some degree.
Okay, so
it depends on the cultural compass, because they'd be like, okay, just do your business and then get off my way.
I'm not talking about cultural compass. I'm talking about in regular, everyday relationships. I think sometimes women will give in more just to do it because the man wants to do it. And so women also just take take a lot. It may hurt, it may do a lot of things, they may just take it, right? Because hope he gets done. Hey, just get it done. Here, take it, get it done. So I think a lot of women may not talk as much either. And I'm only going by now. I hear women talking. One woman's like, I did it all my life when I didn't want to. Now I'm not doing it no more. Like, where you did? I didn't know that. It was really.
Is this the color purple?
I mean, sometimes it might be.
Sometimes.
So I just think that we both have the same issues at times where we don't speak as much.
Right.
I think even in my life, I've learned that, I wish women would have said more about maybe what they wanted, didn't want, or how they wanted certain things. Because sometimes they didn't, I think because they like me, maybe like me, they didn't say certain things or allow certain things that may have not been what they wanted. So they may have not been truly satisfied, but I didn't know. I may have thought they were, and I may have some unsatisfied people out there. I'm not Mr. But again,
when people have that fear of rejection, or the fear that they're going to hurt their partner, then it does sometimes lead to not being real with yourself and your partner.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we both, we don't communicate as we should, which, so it's funny, our intimacy is locked because we're not even being real with each other at times. We're not even allowing ourselves to really become intimate because we think intimacy means I'm inside you, and that's not the case.
Like when you also talked about men having pride, I feel like women have pride too. So for example, when they're younger, she used to could swing her leg this way, used to do that way. And then she gets a little older. After the 20s into the 30s, it's like, oh dang, I can't do that no more. Or I could, but it requires a little bit more work, like exercise.
Right.
Getting enough sleep, just like different things like that. And then as a man, you're like, you used to put it down to a woman, but you ain't doing what you used to do when you was younger. That can go to a woman's ego as well.
Gotcha.
And she can be prideful. So I think it can work both ways.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like
I'm here to help you stretch.
And I'm here to help you learn how to get out your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Doing ploys. I'm here to help you get out your mind so that you can be present in the intimate moment versus having all these other anxiety-driven conversations that's definitely not helping your secretions. I'm just saying.
Yes.
There definitely are. Definitely are. But a lot, we started, I think, the way we talked about it started with the sexual intimacy. And there is a lot of intimacy outside of the bedroom that also helps fuel eliminating the blockage. So it's like you have to be mindful of activating and being intentional around what happens outside of and hopefully you're not only engaging in your bedroom only, but how do you create it just from a note in somebody's briefcase or a note in their lunch, if you made their lunch for the day, or you reach out to them, it'd be a text or a phone call and be like, I'm just calling to tell you that I love you today, or I was thinking about you. Like it's so much more than sex.
Absolutely. Try to know your partner, know what they like, and do that thing. But don't do. I personally don't do what you like to do for me and expect me not to be, and to get upset when I'm not as ecstatic about you doing something that you like. I would say try to learn and know and do what I like. Don't bring me a chocolate eclair cake and think I'm gonna be excited about it. Oh, I thought about you when you didn't, because I don't eat that. That's not on my diet. Stop it.
Right. I just be telling people, I definitely agree.
Don't bring.
It's like you did nothing at all. It's like you did nothing at all because you didn't do what
or
I
it was
want.
a setup for you to not want it so that they had permission to eat it and not feel guilty.
Absolutely. But like I said, that I don't like when people do that. I mean, I thank you, but you're not really in tune with what I want or what I need, right? So I thank you for the thought, but I'm not ecstatic about it. You know, I'm not like, oh, because that didn't really, that to me was not really thoughtful. As far as you really thinking, it was you thought of me, but it wasn't thoughtful. Like you didn't really take into account me when you got this.
Right.
So,
and I think the taboos though, like, play a part in however it is that we are attempting to show intimacy towards someone. Like the taboos that exist in our family beliefs around how we show love and care and support of somebody, maybe say our religious background or spirituality platform that we practice also, you know, put some parameters or rules on how things should be done and where they should be done. But it's like we don't have permission to really talk about like the pleasures of intimacy, or the pleasures that if we have a ripple in the matrix that's like a health issue that's impacting your ability to be present to your relationship in any way intimate, we don't have a space to feel vulnerable enough to trust that our partner is going to be there. And if the partner says, well, we need to go to counseling, then you begin to own and take on the blame. Is it because of me or is it because of them that we going to counseling? It's because of us. It's no me or I, like it's us.
Well, looking at your relationship as me against you, or me versus you, or any of those is a blocker within itself.
Right. Right.
Because yes, it's a collective. When you talk about the problems, because it's not usually a problem that's created and fueled by just one person.
Correct. And it might not even be fueled by you and your partner. It might be fueled by, yo, that boss is just asking me to do too many things and I'm trying to get this box in my head organized.
Yes.
Or
another family member.
Family do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Or this young child that we got keep coming in the bed and coming in the middle. So when I roll over to be like, hey baby, we got the baby and the baby.
Lock the door.
And then they're outside knocking.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mom, open the door. What are you doing?
That's an intimacy block.
Yes, definitely.
And
but it's a matter of training or educating your kids. Educating your kids around your personal space and boundaries. Like, you know, I'm gonna come in your room, I'm gonna read you a book, or you know, like that's it.
But sometimes those things are accepted or acceptable by one of the partners because they're avoiding intimacy with you.
Right. They be like, "Oh, come."
Well,
like,
maybe not.
In the bed.
Maybe not avoiding, but just maybe they just. Cause I know with my daughter, you know, like, listen, she comes first. Like, so if she's gonna come and jump in the bed, then she's gonna be here. Then you just can't be here. Like, it's just more of it was just a lack of knowing how to really handle that situation. So it wasn't that I didn't want to, but it's just like I was like all about her. So I had to learn to kind of like, okay, like you said, have them healthy boundaries. Like you can stay in your room, you know, and it just took time. But it took time. That was more me learning how to juggle the situation.
Right. But there are some, you know, I was thinking about like married couples where there's underlying things that are not right already.
Yeah.
And this is just a way. You know, oh yeah, come on, baby, come get in the bed. Oh, we can't let her sleep in her room by herself. She's so upset. You know, we're using it as an excuse to not deal with whatever else is going on.
And sometimes the baby or child is not even physically in the bed, but is the source that you all is the source that you guys always disagree on and have an argument related to. So in that instance, it's like, okay, let me just mention this child, this, you know, something about what that person is doing. Mm-hmm. And hi, Queen.
Hey, cutie.
Oh, they all coming to the, oh shoot, we got a whole house.
Hey,
got a little one.
Sleepover.
Yeah. Great, go play, girls. Go. Have fun.
Yeah, I used to
know why my girl was late.
I used to pray when my daughter.
My intimacy blockers.
What'd you say, April? You used to what?
I used to be happy, get happy. Up, she's calling me. I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So
you claiming all of them?
Well,
what was you saying, April? It wasn't
the gene pool, so that's what we make pretty babies. You know.
That was my call. So when I mean, the baby could just turn over, just, you know, cry out in her sleep, and I'm just like, oh, what was that? I gotta go. And you know, if it wasn't her in our bed, I'm in her bed. Mm-hmm. So and that was avoidance. Mm-hmm. That was avoidance. So
mm-hmm. How did you get there?
I think honestly, part of with postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
With postpartum, that was the start of it, and then there was just a pure disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of different elements in it, but that was my excuse, and that got me out of a lot of nights.
Dang.
So you learn, you end up learning because people's behavior.
I'd have waited up. It'd have been 4 a.m. I'd have been like, hey, she sleep.
Right?
You don't want her waking up and then decide, and she not knocking on the closed door.
Oh, I definitely got the mean look or the morning call.
That's so funny.
And it was just like, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Here.
That sounds like Mr. again. Like, okay, go ahead.
We call that the here coochie here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was time to go to work.
Yeah. He was going to work, all right. He was going to business.
Well, right. you know, they only need a couple minutes if they just trying to go to work. So, all right, here you go.
It beats 45.
Y'all are funny. That is hilarious. I mean, but I think they are.
That wasn't the right way to handle it, honestly. You know, and I mean now I know. Mm-hmm. You know.
That's real. You're right, though. That's real. It's real experience. Thank you for sharing.
But
that is a real experience. I like that's real. It is.
But I think it could be tough with kids in general. Mm-hmm. See, I never was the one when kids be like, hey, I'm rolling over, I'm going to sleep. So I think
I'll wake you up.
My issue that I had, that my kids, I had locks on the doors. I've had 5 or 6 different type of locks on my bedroom door. They learn how to break or open each one.
What kid you raising?
They are scientists. Our children are scientists.
Mom, how you doing?
Hey, Mom. No. So, because I used to be like that as a kid. I used to pick locks. And I know how to do a lot of things. But anyway. But I had different types of locks. I had deadbolts. I would have tools. They would break every one. So I did the opposite. So they could stop being blockers. What I would do, I just didn't put a lock on the door at all. And we sat down and talked to them. Like, sometimes our time is our time. We trained them like our time is our time. If you keep, I'm not going to put no lock on the door no more. If you just keep walking in or doing whatever, then it is what it is.
You're gonna be traumatized by what you see.
So the middle child,
and you
the
can't
middle child
unsee
was about,
certain things.
right.
Some
The
things
middle child
you
was
can't.
about, he was about 5 or 6. He knew our time was our time, but I got all boys. So if I decide to do anything for my husband, they not having it. They flip out like, you cooking for him? Like, you, what?
What?
I thought that was my food. That was like just different stuff. Like, I thought we were going out. I'm not doing that with you. Like, just they real. Yeah, so what I did, so when I stopped,
handle
I
her.
turned all the locks off. Okay. So the middle child, he's about 5 or 6. He didn't listen. He walked in, and after that, we had no issues.
I bet.
Had no issues with it.
Did you see what he did to mommy?
It wasn't very. I think he was. He understood after that. I think it's just we trained him. He didn't want to listen. It was just like, because you know how sometimes people think, okay, I live here like a kid. Every room, I can be in any room or do whatever I want to do. Like, this is my house too.
Right.
Everything is their territory, their natural environment. So they just gravitate to that, spending time with us or doing whatever. So after that, it was like, oh no, I can't go in there. That's off limits. I have to say, I can go in any other room but that room. But now we don't have the issue. But it's yes and no, because I do have a toddler. But even with that, had to train him too.
Yeah.
But now,
did he have to see some things he want to unsee to get trained, or he accepted the conversation?
Very different. He be like, "Daddy, you need to hug and kiss mommy." He sees the affection, but then when we like play with him and be like, "Oh, come hang out with us," he gets tired of us and he goes, "Bye," and he'll walk in and just close the door himself. So I don't know. So this one is just a little different.
So you raise a point in regards to the conversation with the children, just knowing the boundaries and feeling comfortable with the boundaries. And it worked for you. It don't always work for everybody, but it worked for you. You probably did some differentiated instruction.
Actually, did.
Gave them some strategies, like you was at work with them note cards that you had in one of our sessions.
Oh yeah. Well, I talk to them like I don't talk to them differently. I really don't. It's just like I'm a straight shooter. Like, this is what it is. If you don't listen, these are the consequences. Good, better, and different. You can decide. So whatever comes of it is on you. Because I've talked to you numerous times, me and your dad, over and over and over. We've talked to you. We've done it in pictures. I don't know. It's just different ways, but yeah. And I think when you do set boundaries with kids, and even not just kids, other family members, like if you have a mother-in-law that lives with you, or if you have a cousin, or even your grown sister, you have to set boundaries with them too in terms of how you spend your time. Because it's not just about sexual intimacy; it's about spending time with each other, doing things of interest that you like. So that's a big one too. So
yes.
So there are some things though, like dealing with abandonment issues, or if you had uncharted territories in your childhood that play a part in how it is that you show up for your partner and how you show up for yourself. And it's not until you get the partner that's really ready to like link your arms side by side, whether it's in a committed relationship or or not, to begin to learn, okay, how can I peel back those layers and kind of heal from that they're not, it might look like they're doing the same thing, but they're not really doing the same thing. And society kind of pushes a lot of taboos that we end up guiding our relationships by, and saying, okay, well, I mean, like, if I could use one of the posts that was in, like, is Valentine's Day in 3 weeks or whatever. The calendar shouldn't dictate when you show love for your partner. Like, you should be able to show love whenever.
Yeah.
It's almost the calendar becomes the intimacy blocker in itself, because you're waiting for these special days to do something, right? You start to fall to like, well, Valentine's Day is coming up. Let me plan something for Valentine's Day, when you could have planned something for today. Right. We start looking for, and it becomes so almost conditioned. We have these whole 4 holidays that we will do things for each other. So that becomes a problem.
Right.
And also, I was
No,
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I was saying it also presents a problem because if so many Valentines have gone by, like the time and the calendar, and you're looking for the ring, and you're looking for a bracelet, I don't
That's
know.
what I'm talking about with society.
Right.
Like,
If you was society, you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for that, and you waited a whole year for that, and you missed the rest of the year. Where has this relationship grown? What have you done to put work into it to make it flourish? Besides looking for a ring, because if that's how you want it, you could have got some costume jewelry.
you
Oh,
go
and
buy
you have
your
a
own
ring.
ring.
You get a ring for $100. I'm just saying, you
You
could
go
have,
buy your own ring.
yeah, for all that. Because
I mean,
I'm like, if you looking, are you looking for a ring? Or are you looking for a true commitment to grow with somebody that's gonna be there for you, a real partnership?
well, I think that people, and it's funny because some people are looking to be spoiled on that day. They expect a certain amount of money to be spent on them, right? And if you don't, they're looking at you like, "This what you got me? Like this it? A
Mhm.
card?" Like so, it just really, to me, it warps the sense of a relationship. It makes it to be it cheapens it to me. Um, it makes it a price tag for a day.
Yeah, and you don't really value me any other day because you're waiting on these calendars to dictate how you invest in our relationship. And really, every day that you are able to open your eyes is a day that you should love yourself first and
Yep,
your partner next.
a day above ground. I hear you.
But like you
Hmm.
said, you don't, the person doesn't value you for that into that one day. But you're not even asked to be valued other than that one day, right? Because you're also waiting for that
Right.
day to be spoiled.
Right.
So
Right.
it's definitely, both people are party to this. They share equal blame, and you're waiting all year to Valentine's Day. What I'm gonna do, or you're anxious about Valentine's Day coming. I don't know if to get her this year. I got her. We went to Tahiti last year. I don't know do this year. And she's like, well, what's he gonna do this year? Because last year, and so it's both of us are falling victim to this consumer type holiday.
It's like they wait on the
And you're
camera
trying to
out.
do it for your friends as opposed to for your
Yeah.
relationship.
And
Hmm.
he only posts you once a year. Let me stop.
If they post you then, they might just post a gift.
They may not post you then. You
Right.
still might be the
Right.
secret, the
Right.
secret
Right.
to the rest of the world.
Right.
Look what he
Mhm.
got me, and there's a picture of what he got you, but ain't you and him and no pictures.
Right.
No.
Hey, Tanya.
We
Hey.
ain't doing no haze
Hey,
at 9 o'clock.
Tanya.
We ain't doing no haze at 9 o'clock.
It's not 9 o'clock.
We
It's
we
8:57.
we do haze. We do haze at 8 o'clock.
She might have been out there saving the world.
Okay, well save your
She's in the
haze.
DMV area. She got to go through security protocols and stuff.
Okay,
You still, okay. She still
save
got
her
to show up
haze.
at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Thanks, Tanya, for your hay.
Facebook, go where you are.
So now you want her to drive and join.
Hey, you hit the button and
With
let
the
it play.
kids in the car. But the kids might be in the car. We ain't always PG-13.
Oh, she better get some headphones. Put in her one ear. Put
If
in
we
her
was
good ear.
always PG-13, I'm like, okay, yep, let's rock it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we dip and dive,
Yeah. Hey,
Right,
don't have the kids.
right.
The kids get it.
Yeah.
Kids
I'm
get a whole
thinking
new education.
PG-13 is relative.
Mhm.
What'd you say, Camp?
I was saying being PG-13 is relative.
I mean, we adults.
Yeah.
We adults. They just gotta watch.
Grown
That's what
over
they say
here.
they like us. They say they like sipping chat. So we got to keep it spicy.
I get it.
We gotta say what they talk, what they
Did you do
thinking.
your blackout because it don't look like it? Doc,
What?
did you do your blackout because it don't look like it?
I didn't. Not yet.
Okay, all
I
right.
didn't.
What's a blackout?
We'll tell you in the green room.
Okay.
Woo,
if y'all could be in the green room, let me tell you.
right. That's so funny. So one of the things though, when we think about, I'm sorry, go ahead, Doc.
No, go ahead.
When we think about like the women, the women's side, that's what I can speak from, at least in this point. And we talk about them not being able to be present for whatever intimate moment, not necessarily sexual, but our history has not really taught us well in that area. And we have a lot of trauma connected to that. in regards to our story that, you know, impacts our mind, that just impacts everything. And we have like men being taken out of our family and like all of this other stuff that kind of pulls us into so many different roles that makes us not able to serve. And I don't mean serve as far as like, I'm not trying to get into the submissive thing, but just being present overall in the relationship. Because if I've worked all day and I didn't chase some kids and some adults not being compliant to the prescription of life that you've given them, and like I need decompressing time, and you coming right at me when I come in the house, yeah. If you was trying to have the lights out with the candle burning, like it's not happening. And we have this we reclaim who we are in the spaces. But it's very, very challenging for us to reclaim who we are because we're still trying to sort out all the residue that happened before I even got home to be present for you. And I think that goes on both sides.
Yes, I agree.
You know, it definitely goes on both sides, but I just, you know.
Yes, it does. I just had a conversation with a couple regarding that. You know, the wife is a stay-at-home mom. And the husband works. He works really hard. And that was his thing. You know, when I come home, I need a minute. I need a minute. You know, I worked all day, and maybe you can't see because you can't see it from my perspective because you worked all day with the baby.
Hopefully they say that. Like you was just home doing nothing.
Exactly.
Look at this house.
She's like, I ain't talking about all day. You come in the door. Hey, how you doing? What you doing? How you doing? You need something with it? Like, whoa, I talked all day. I don't want to talk anymore. I need a break. I want time out from talking. That's her time to talk.
Yeah,
I've been there.
Yes, or her time to hand the baby right over as soon as he comes in the door.
Well, been there from both ends. And I don't know, like I feel like if I need to talk to an adult or I want to talk to him, I get a hobby. I do something, watch a new YouTube channel, explore something to give him that time for him to get himself together.
Yeah,
I think
that's you.
We're talking about an agreement of what that time looks like.
I get it.
Yeah,
we're talking about the majority of people don't know to do.
Yeah, I'm
that,
sorry.
Right?
Yeah, I think I can be different.
A lot of times we got to speak from the majority. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what. No. That's what we talked about. What does that look like? You know, what is it you need? Because it doesn't help him if she said, "Well, I'm gonna give him time by not throwing the baby in his arms, but I'm gonna talk him to death." So it's
that's not time. How about I'm about to go sit in the car or drive some extra blocks just so I could have a moment.
So it's a conversation and finding out what that looks like for him. Not what you want to do. What does that time look like for him? What does he need from you when he walks through the door? Because we have a tendency to see things just from our point of view. And I'm not saying I'm not talking about I'm talking about human beings in
general. And it's funny, sometimes all we have to do is kind of relate to the other person what we want, but we just don't know how to, and we get stuck in this every day doing the same thing. And all we have to do is say, look, I need about 10-15 minutes when I come home, babe. Like, you know, and then maybe things, but we just don't do it a lot of time. We just get caught up and not saying anything.
Yes.
And that creates a disconnection, which also creates it being an intimacy blocker, like your ability to kind of connect. Ronika, you about to get shouted out. Wait, no.
Hey.
Hey, what? Hey, y'all at 9:04. Hey, what? What are we haying? What are we haying?
All visitors.
9:04. This is what we're doing.
But this is a good one. People working at home, it can be hard. Yeah,
because you don't have the drive or the commute. you know, you might have to
Don't
go
have to get
outside and
dressed
take a
for it.
run or a walk or something like that, just so you could like break the monotony of being in front of your computer for whatever task it was that you had to get done. And yeah, I don't know.
It can be manipulated. So, like you said, Doc, I'm sorry, Mary, earlier you had alluded to
You got a room?
making time. I'm sorry.
He's
I
asking
said
Ronnie if
AC.
she has a room in AC.
She got a room. I'm just asking. What's going on in AC? What's up?
They got some nice specials down there right now.
They do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they want people to come. Yeah.
Yes, they got some real nice specials like $30, $49, and $51.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So you can come. You know what I mean? They want you to come.
PG.
So go ahead. What were you saying, April?
Right.
I was
April, April.
say that we need to designate the time. Mary, you were saying earlier we need to, you know, allot some time when we first come home. Whether it, I mean, now that we're in pandemic mode, most people are working from home. You can still slot out some time for yourself to some downtime. So if that means like at the end of your work day, taking 30 minutes to take a walk around your neighborhood, your block or whatever, or go to another place. Exactly, a drive. And that's actually what I used to do. You know, when I right after my divorce and, you know, things had changed for me, when I came home, I would tell the kids, look, you know, I need 30 minutes of downtime. Let me just, you know, relax my body, relax my mind. Then I'll start dinner, you know, but to come home to, after picking up my son from daycare and my daughter getting situated with homework, you know, I want to jump right in, but it really wasn't healthy for me to jump right in because I'm still tense from work. From work, the drive coming home, 42 wasn't, you know, it's full of traffic, especially on a Friday during the summer. You know, I'm still agitated. So it's best to just take that time, whatever it is, 10, 15, 30. I took my 30. You know, and just change your attitude so that you can be there for whomever.
I mean, and that's if it allows.
They end up taking the structured time and just kind of staying in that space too.
Oh,
true.
No,
that can happen.
And my aunt used to say, wherever you are, you know, just don't stay there. You know, it's okay, but just don't remain there. So too much of anything is not really all that healthy for you.
Daryl?
No, I was saying that if it allows, right? Because sometimes you may not have that 30 minutes when you first come home to do whatever. You know, if the kids got sports and, you know, considering how old the kids are and things of that nature. And, you know, so it might not be when you first come home. It may be at the end of the night, right? Before you go to bed, that may be the time. It's tough. You know, you have to try to be creative with it, contingent upon your schedule and what you're dealing with and yada, 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 you know, cooking, cleaning and all that type of stuff. You know, you may not just be able to take off 30 minutes. And if you were, that's pretty good. But, you know, like for me, you know, I pick my daughter up at 2:45, come home, we do homework, got to make something to eat. I got class at 6:30, 6:30, and then leaving right from there. And usually I have Bible study on Mondays, you know, so it's a bang, 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 right? So it's kind of hard sometimes to really catch your breath on some of them days. Like it really is. Some of them days it feels like I don't settle down to maybe 12 at night. I'm like, okay. Oh, but then now you gotta go to sleep at a decent time because you know you gotta start again at 7 o'clock. It starts over in 5 minutes. So you know, contingent upon your schedule, it gets very tough. In that case, I try to work out days that I could, you know, I'm gonna take this day and I'm gonna have 2 hours kind of to just do me if I can, you know, or do something where maybe I take my daughter, but it's something that's kind of also kind of relaxing to me in a way. Or sometimes it's just my body that tell me you have to stop.
Yes.
And Wednesday was a day where my body was like, you have to stop. Right. So Wednesday at like right after I did my class, begrudgingly I did it. And right after class, I was done. Like I couldn't do any. I said, my body said, you're not doing anything else. I didn't do anything else. I went, sat down, watched TV, ended up falling asleep. Got like 9-10 hours of sleep. First time I did that in a long time. But my body told me, and I listened to it. That you're not going to make your steps today.
Right.
You're not going to do the extra workout today. You're going to get some rest. So
and giving yourself grace, permission to like really even accept the fact that your body is like, yo, if you ain't gonna chill, I'm gonna chill for you.
Exactly.
And like I said, for me, it was
we
tough
should try to put it in place already, but like we just don't. Like we haven't been programmed or downloaded to like look at it that way.
And I just wanted to say that Daryl, there is time in the day for us to give to ourselves. No matter how compact it is, we still have to make time for ourselves, and we can. Whether it's in the morning, like you said, you have to be flexible depending on your day. For me, I just made my 30 minutes right after I went to, came from work. Like, don't say anything to me. Let me just chill. That was my 30 minutes to catch up on current times, on the news or whatever. That was my downtime. And then I would get up and make dinner, because I knew, like you said, depending on activities with the kids. My son was active in sports at that age or whatnot. So I knew that I had a route, had a calendar of things to do, but I still had to make some sort of routine for myself because honestly, and just to be a little more transparent, it did start to affect my health, physically, because I was not making that time. I would come home and just lay down on the couch because all day my stomach was ripped apart during the day because I was so stressed with all the other things that was going on, work, the things at work. I needed that 30 minutes before I could direct my attention to my children. And my thing is, I could not take the burden that I carried during the day, bring it home, and then throw it on them. Sometimes I did, but then when I realized that that's not fair to them, you have to take the 30 minutes. You have to make that time. So, however your schedule is, however flexible it is, you have to make that time.
And you have to be kind enough to yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. We forget oftentimes to be kind to ourselves and give ourselves the permission to take care of ourselves.
Well, I think sometimes we may even forget. Like I said, for me, I feel like I go and go and go, and days just turn into months and weeks, turn into years. It just goes so fast, and you forgot. Like wow, like even now for me, February is kind of a weird month for me, but it's already been a year. Right? I'm about to come up to February again. I'm like, it seemed like it was just yesterday. It was February, right? Time is moving so fast. So it's amazing that my days, I just go and go and go, and I just beat myself up, and I got to try to take that time and let myself prepare, and also take the time to heal, and that's mentally, physically. You can't just keep going at this rate. Like you said, you're tearing yourself apart, but you don't realize. I don't realize it's been, 8. I've been doing this for like 9 weeks straight, where we've been going straight every day. You just don't realize how it could time. So I think I gotta set some alarms or something to say, listen, slow down, stop, take a break. I do have to do something like that to make some time for myself.
And then listen to the alarm when it goes off. As opposed to just dismissing it and being like, okay, I'm gonna get to that later because I'm like in a groove. But like strategically set time for whatever task it is that you're doing, especially in this pandemic, because some days you don't know what day it is. And you don't know, like you may not have looked at your calendar to see like what was going on. And if you are disconnected, you have to reconnect yourself, and reconnecting yourself means, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to get this task done, and then I'm going to do some self-care or something that's like not work related, that's working my mind in that particular way, to give yourself grace. Because otherwise, that's time for you, you know, kind of giving yourself the opportunity to regroup. Otherwise, you become resentful.
You know? And you can. I think it's good.
And that resentment is not only directed at you. It's directed at your partner. It's directed at your children. It's directed at your job.
Yep.
Anybody that say your name, like my name got changed. I changed my name.
That call your name.
Yes.
They be like, well, what's the new name? I'm not telling you.
I would say that, you know, as a mom, as a wife, or used to be a wife, we forget that, you know, well, I know I got in the mode where, you know, I'm supposed to do this. You know, I am not supposed to have this time. I'm supposed to go from mother to wife to, you know, worker.
Everything else.
You know, and never make time for April.
Life makes you feel that. That's one of those taboos that come into that.
Yes.
I just remember being in my 20s, and I had made a pact with myself that every day I was going to get me time, even before I had kids. So when I told my girlfriends this, and they had other smaller children like I did, they said I didn't deserve to have even 5 minutes to myself. We were around. So by the time my kids got maybe above 10, 12, 13, whatever, they was like, girl, I need time. But when I was saying this when they were small, people, my circle was like, girl, you don't need no time. You're young. You're supposed to be mothering them kids, going to work, cleaning, raising yourself.
And that's not everybody's gift. So you got to do what works for you, because everybody, however it is that you live life, your script and your assignment is only for you. So even as we have in this conversation and you hearing it, people are hearing what we're saying differently, because they got to like hear it, take it in, and then make the activation and the choice that they want to do something about it. But then how does it apply to their life?
Right.
Because like somebody said 30 minutes and then 10-minute break. I might need 30 minutes and an hour and a half break, depending on what I put 30 minutes into.
Yeah.
Correct. I know. I don't know. I just used to, you know how you plan everything. I'm a planner, but then I'm like, I need some flexibility in between. I had to give myself grace to where if I didn't get to something on my schedule at that time, at that place, it's okay to put it over into tomorrow. Like I would beat myself up because I said I was going to the grocery store for 2 days straight, and I had to go because I was at home on my niggas was typing away for 2 days. So what I did, ding, I just ordered groceries, and then I went to go pick up this morning.
And like April mentioned, flexibility is very, very valuable.
It's good to have.
It is
for your mind, body, and your spirit.
Yes. Flexibility.
Daryl, not that flexibility.
Damn, I'm sorry.
Grocery shopping, like my husband likes to go grocery shopping, but I would rather do it myself because I'm like, I'm the one that's cooking. I know what's going on, but then you got to release some stuff too. You can't do everything.
Right.
So I think so. Just being a mother, wife, and all that good stuff. I just be like, you know what? I ain't got to do that. How many people in this house?
Right.
You wash dishes.
Delegate.
He can trash. I can sit here and do nothing. So, but see, that's the thing. When I don't do nothing, I don't do nothing. So I think you have to give yourself like the grace and not beat yourself up.
Right.
And that's where that overwhelming stuff comes from. We create, when we realize that we are overwhelmed and we look backwards, we created that moment.
Yes.
Because you end up putting more into to be done in a time frame that was really realistic. So it's like, okay, this is the time frame I have. Let me look at the list of things that I need to do. What's realistic that I could get done in this 2 or 3 hour break? You know, or this 2 or 3 hour time frame, and the things that I can't, put that in the third column and get to that when you get to it.
But you know,
right,
when you're working from shoulds, you know, it kind of eliminates that ability to be flexible, and it makes you beat yourself up.
True.
You know, and these shoulds come from all kinds of places. You know, what you saw your parents do, what your girlfriend's telling you, what society is saying about how you should be doing things.
And if you work for somebody, what the boss is saying that they need done by any means necessary, like you like, okay, how am I gonna put this into how?
It's crazy when
so then you lose sleep, you don't eat because you want your job to be sufficient because that's what fuels and informs everything else. But at what cost? You end up losing yourself.
And not to mention, we do want to mention, if a person has depression, if a person has anxiety, it also interferes because now you're working from a particular construct.
Yeah.
That's actually fueling how you do these things.
Yeah.
I mean, and Doc, and we probably really even need to peel that back a little bit in the sense that even if somebody hasn't been come to you or I or somebody like you or I to say anxiety is in their living space, we need to realize that everybody lives with a level of anxiety every single day.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
When you overthink, you plan something, you second guess yourself, you go back and forth, then you call a friend to get their input, or you scrolling on social media to get their input. When you begin to add all these other voices into a situation, like you had general thought process that was probably anxiety, but then I mean, if we just use like the season that we just came out of, and I'm thinking of like a meme that I use for this example, they have like one rock in their hand and it has anxiety, but then it has like the pandemic, then it has like mental health issues, it has the election, like it has all these other things that's happening all around. And as you consume and put yourself in front of the screen or in front of the text message and receive all of that energy, you're layering in all of your anxiety. And so anxiety doesn't have one face. It doesn't look one particular way. I just gave an example of one of the ways that it shows up, but it could be your body, your stomach is tight, or you're getting migraine headaches, or you dehydrated. Like all of these things make you not feel like you want to be available to another person or even to yourself because you don't really understand everything that's going on.
But I think we should make a distinction, though, that sometimes it's situational, and then sometimes it is a chemical issue.
True.
Or, where your whole world is dangerous. Everything around you is dangerous and going to be and is going to be bad. Versus this is a bad situation and I'm feeling anxiety about it or anxious about it. So I think we should make that distinction because some people live in that world that everything every time
never works for me, always happens to me. Like those type of definitive statements, like it's not
like that. It's like
everything is a danger.
Yes.
I mean, everything is a danger. I mean, I'm sitting by this window and, a couple days ago, somebody had a fest going on outside. I don't know if it was on my block, but I know it sounded really close.
Oh, man. Jeez.
So, I mean,
and I think you raise a really good point because I think that just from what I've been seeing with what I'm doing online this past year, many people are experiencing symptoms of anxiety that they've never felt before. Just a trauma upon trauma upon trauma.
Layers. Wow. Yeah, layers. Yes. That before the pandemic even happened, they had some baseline trauma and they may have been trying to develop coping skills for that. But then you add, I'm not working or I'm working differently. And now I got to be a school at home mom.
Yes.
And I still got to be like.
And if you in Philly, now they shooting off fireworks every single night.
They're back to fireworks.
Are they really doing that?
They got the fireworks.
For like 4 months.
Yes.
Yes.
As long as they were receiving that $600 extra a week, it was fireworks in the neighborhood.
Every night. Every night.
Celebrating,
night.
turning up.
And
My
you can't tell if it's a
tell you,
firework
my poor cat has PTSD. Every loud sound, he runs for cover. Man. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So that on top of, talk about having an exaggerated startle response.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of
I can't wait to see how the DSM characterizes all of the new qualifying situations that have developed as a result of this pandemic. I mean, you could put one with DT. He probably caused a lot.
I'm sure a lot of trauma.
A lot of trauma for folks.
They have a special category.
They need a whole new book for the stuff that he created. I mean, because his face shows up in so many different parts of it. So it's like.
And I've worked with some people who are triggered by the voice and the face.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
I might be one.
I mean, I sound like I'm being sarcastic or funny, but like because there have been memes about the orangeness, orange is now a trigger. So when they go through the produce section, they can't walk near the oranges because it stimulates them in a particular one.
I'm gonna go stand by the oranges and see if that happens.
You know what?
No, you might start stabbing the oranges.
Nah, listen, they don't bother me because the orange did nothing to me. Orange is oranges. Orange is white, same difference.
That's because you work in the field.
Yeah, and then, a lot of times people think post-traumatic stress just develops from a violent act or a war or something like that, and it doesn't always come that way. It could just be trauma upon trauma, things.
And your grief can manifest how you have grief in different ways. Like grief losing a job, grief of how somebody talked to you, grief of losing someone that you cared for. All of that manifests in different ways that could be turned into trauma.
Yes.
Yes. Or develop into trauma.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and that's it raises another issue about intimacy blockers, because if you don't have these conversations with your partner and you don't know what they've experienced,
right?
You might be seeing something happening and don't understand it, and of course that could make you seem insensitive, and not caring, when it's just that you don't understand what's happening.
And one of the examples that I use for that, Doc, is that when we go to the plays, no matter who wrote the play is going to trigger somebody in that room. Because the content is going to cover so many different scopes of who it is that we are, and what we may have grown through, or we thought that we grew through, and that we stuffed it in the volcano. And then we go to what was supposed to be entertainment. And it could be a play, it could be a movie. You could be sitting on the couch, cuddled up, looking at a sitcom. That role, sometimes it could probably be oblivious and not even bother you. But then sometimes the person could have just acted it out, and maybe it's a Mercury retrograde or something else happening, and your body just responds to it totally, totally different. So where now you are all the way in a trauma stance, like a trauma trap of some sort. So I know a lot of times I may work a play to have that talk back afterwards, just to give people that space to kind of process what it was they experienced and recognize if they not necessarily need to come to me, but what they need to do to have self-care after what was entertainment turned into something different.
Yeah. And when you have those triggers, what happens? You go into what? You want to run? You want to battle?
Right.
Or you just can't do anything.
Yeah.
And we think the person is insensitive, but if you haven't given them the message in regards to what you're experiencing and why, and you don't want to be vulnerable in that way, then it's like, okay, you got to rechange your mind. You got to, look at it differently so that one, if this is a meaningful relationship for you, your partner can be aware. Just like we said earlier, going to the doctor's appointment so that you can know what some of the side effects or things to be sensitive around when there's a diagnosis of a medical concern that's impacting your relationship or your ability to do what you once did around the house. Like, you got to be mindful of those things.
Mm-hmm. Or I might just not be. I think you might have said the same thing, but it might not be. I just might not understand what, even though you tell me something, I may not understand your experience, right? Like if you, as a woman, had something going on, like, well, this is what I'm going through. If I can't really relate, I can't really give a response, maybe because I don't understand that fully. I just don't have, maybe, like I said, so maybe I need to go to a doctor or someone to help me or better to understand it, because I may not just understand what you're going through, just because we're different, we definitely are different, so certain things we just won't understand about each other.
And that's an important point, especially if you're talking about two people who are coming from a place of emotional trauma or physical trauma or whatever. You're both in a place of protecting yourself,
right?
Which makes it difficult to understand your partner. You're in this place of, I need to make sure I'm okay, and it really makes it difficult for you to be empathetic and try to see things from your partner's point of view.
Or maybe, like I'm talking about, say maybe it's like a postpartum type thing, and I don't understand how you could have a problem with the baby you just had. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't make sense. How could you not love this thing that you carried for 9 months? This is silly. I'm just not, a person may not be in a position to really understand that. Even though you're telling them what you're going through, you can say it, or even if it's something like anxiety or something, like really you're anxious, you're afraid to go outside because it's raining. Like I don't understand. You can tell me, but I may not just have the ability to really understand and connect with that feeling, because I'm not having that same thing.
You're right. Yes, you're right.
And it's usually not directly the child. It is usually the experience of having the child. And then how life is impacted, huh?
And
I didn't know. I just learned what you just said. I knew nothing about it.
It's the hormones trying to balance themselves too.
Yes,
because somebody then took your genes and your hormones and made this whole new person. So they took from you. Like, I mean, you shared it with them, but like they took for you. So it's like, as your body is recalibrating to rebuild, it's almost like, I mean, I'm not going to connect it to that, but it's just, it's not selfish, but I mean, it's just like, even when a woman has their cycle, like their body is imbalanced. So it's like, they're not intentionally trying to just shout and be irritated and all of that. It's what's happening in their body. And it's like, we got to tell young girls about what this feeling is, because they're like, going through the transition and don't understand what's happening to their body. And then they get older and like just walk around angry. Why are you angry?
Right.
As soon as I ask a teenager, I'm like, okay, well, is your period about to come? Oh, Miss May, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you need to look at yourself.
and a lot of the women that do experience postpartum, they feel shame.
They do.
They feel shame, because I know I love my baby. But I can't hold them. I feel like I might hurt them, because it can go to the extreme of, I don't know what I might do to my baby.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, the baby is like the transitional, I don't want to say object, but it's the transitional form of life that is not really the baby, but the baby is the energy force, right? The energy force that's causing you to have this shift.
Right. And postpartum doesn't always look like you want to disassociate yourself from the baby. Sometimes it's the opposite, and I say that for me, my thing is, I coddled my daughter. You know, nobody else can touch her. You know, it was the overprotection of my daughter. You know,
I want postpartum.
I'm sorry.
Can men have postpartum?
They can.
Because I didn't let anybody touch my daughter. Me and her mom had to argue because I was like, nah, you can't. Like, this is my daughter. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know what it's called, but men do experience, you know, going through the pregnancy process,
Right, yeah.
you know, the delivery process. They go through some changes too. You know, I don't know. You guys can help me out, Doc and Mary, if there's like some kind of, you know, connection but I have heard of men, you know, their
sympathetic pregnancy.
You know, I'm sorry?
Sympathetic pregnancy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like sometimes men gain weight. They
Yes,
like while you're pregnant and you're like, what's you already
got this big old stomach and
that's because y'all both sitting there eating whatever she wants. That's why.
Told me that
because he could be drinking a beer,
right,
and that beer is going right to his stomach.
Right.
Yeah, because he's sitting there right next to you. Y'all both ain't doing nothing for 9 months.
All right, Mr. Fitness.
Exactly.
That's a direct correlation to weight gain.
But I've heard men, I've heard men of knowing about the pregnancy even before the woman confirms it because their stomach is jacked up.
Right.
Yeah,
they're sleeping more.
How many times you heard that? Not many.
Well, it happened in my situation as well.
Those are the men who
it
are
happened to me 3 times. Well,
their partners.
Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah, well, not me. I didn't feel anything. Oh, my stomach hurts.
Territorial
my
bear.
stomach hurts. Are you pregnant? No, it didn't happen.
You just became the territorial bear. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. When the baby came, I was like, nobody. She's like, not my family. For what?
Wait a minute. She said her husband is going through menopause with her right now. Okay.
Well, that would be menopause.
Is he not getting wet? Is he not getting wet?
Daryl.
What did he say?
Daryl.
What did he say?
Just keep going, Miss April. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Replay. Tell me, what did he say?
I know what it is.
He's feeling hot flashes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Daryl. He's feeling hot flashes.
Okay.
Not that you said.
Right. Not what you said. Not all women go through that in menopause, Daryl. That's just a potential symptom. Yeah, it's a potential symptom, but not everyone goes through that.
They had said that. That's what they had said. I don't know.
You know what?
That's what they had said.
That's what they had said, you know.
Yeah, just like any other medical diagnosis. Some symptoms, some people get other symptoms.
Right.
Gotcha. I thought that was a majority of the symptoms.
Nah.
Okay.
At least it's consistent for the troublemaker. You being told to behave.
Right?
I got questions. I got questions. This is where a safe space where I can bring all my questions. Uninhibited here. I'm uninhibited.
That's interesting. So we have covered I don't know. It seems like we dabble in the spirituality thing, but we don't really dive in. Like, I guess I don't know if that's a comfort thing that's coming out or.
I think we kind of talked about it. And then one of the tangents, and then it kind of just broke off. It wasn't. It was unintentional.
I think that spirituality. Sorry for digging in my eye, but it's itching.
All in your eye. Next time, close the camera off.
I think that.
Your nose. We can take your eye, as long as it ain't your nose.
Okay, good. I think that there's some intersection too, especially we've covered a lot about emotional trauma, but there's an intersection with emotional trauma and that spiritual dimension, because oftentimes when you're trying to heal from emotional trauma, you're trying to figure out, like, how do I see my life now? What's the bigger picture? What's my journey now? Who am I now that this particular thing has happened to me? How do I get a new perspective on the pain that I've experienced?
Gotcha.
You know, am I a stronger person? And am I more capable? Am I more resilient? So I think that there's a cross across with the spirituality and specifically emotional trauma. Because I think you have
and
to kind of go
obligation.
into it.
And people feel obligated because that's something that has been a guiding force for their life in so many ways, as opposed to just having a discovery of, okay, what serves me well and what doesn't serve me well, and then going from there. They stay stuck to the legacy of what they've been told.
Yes. And that sometimes that could be really conflictual for people, especially if bad things happen.
And damage.
Right.
Past their religion.
Yes.
Or just your grandmother's spirituality and not your own.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem.
I mean,
when you start to follow anybody's spirituality and it's not your own, you start to have a problem.
Spirituality is not our own, but y'all don't want me to go there to my power to the people, social justice stuff. I'll save that for another conversation.
That's another session.
Yes, because
you got to find what works for you.
Huh?
Find what works for you.
You definitely have to find what works for you, but then do some research.
Well,
that's it.
And I think a lot of people
they're missing books, but
I think that a lot of times people confuse spirituality with religion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Because they are definitely two different conversations. And something that I recently participated in, it was identifying that when we talk about us having energy, we really should be looking at our energy as a part of the solar system, that we independently are solar systems, and we give off that energy that we are attracting. So it's like,
that's why people don't want to hear you attract what you are a lot of times.
Yeah,
they don't want to hear that.
You are.
They don't want to hear that.
You are what you,
but you pulling it right to you.
Or like if we go to the other side of the fence where they usually want to talk about is like, if you put that pheromone stuff on, you already got a certain energy, but then if you add the pheromones oil, you just like, you gonna be all of a sudden an explosive piece of solar energy just walking around.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the energy actually, and if you guys talk about energy, some people, you might meet people online or when you never meet them and you're still attracting the same people, right? And that's crazy. There's something has to be, that somehow that attraction.
Same person, different face.
Yeah,
it's you.
Wow.
Because you're the common denominator.
Yes.
And it's like, once you understand and embrace, I don't want to say the other word because that's going to take y'all too deep, and embrace the fact that you bring that energy to you, like you would benefit. I don't want to say need. You would benefit from really like taking a self-discovery to understand why does it happen the way that it happens.
I thought you were going to say it. I was like, I was waiting.
No.
Next time.
No, another time.
Yes.
Because the word brings a lot of conversation. I'm looking at the time.
I get it.
Yeah. I don't want Doc to give me that look.
That look that you give.
That look that she gives.
Yes,
and y'all know what happens in the green room
over the course.
Right.
But that's hard. That's a hard concept. Hard concept for a lot of people.
People don't like to hear that. You're correct.
No, not at all.
And it's not even a negative thing when we say, or when it is said that you are who you attract. It's not really a negative thing, but because you don't own who you are in a safe space, then that's where the doubt and the question and the I refuse this in the name of whoever.
Right. I rebuke.
Yes, all of that. Like, you need to hug it because apparently, like, it's sitting next to you on the couch, like that Bernie meme popping up everywhere.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
Yes.
So,
So can you change what you attract?
Of course.
If you change yourself, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So you're changing your atmosphere, your planet, or whatever
You're
solar
owning
system.
who you are. You
You
gotta
owning who
own
you
and
are.
embrace who you
Yes,
are
and love
choose
you
and love you unapologetically.
Yes, and know who you are. Stand in it. Swirl in it.
Even if it's unique and it doesn't fit the norm or the mold, like you gotta stand and just know that the creator is going to protect you once you own what it is that he's poured into you or she has poured into you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to give no gender and people get offended.
Yeah.
But the key is, if you don't like what you're attracting, the mirror is the first place to go.
Yep. Do something about
even
it.
in the mirror, and you guys listening, catching us on the replay, whatever, when you go in the restroom and you wash your hands, do you really look in the mirror? Usually people even avoid the mirror as often as they are in front of the mirror because they don't want to see themselves.
I look in the mirror.
And then they don't want to look into the eyes of they say the eyes lead you to the soul. Like they don't want to see all of that because it's scary to them.
Of course. It's so much easier to point outward.
Absolutely.
But you forget all the fingers pointing towards you.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it. You can do it this way, you can do it that way. I don't care how you do it. They all point back to you.
They do.
Can't even make eye contact.
What'd you say about eye contact?
I said people be afraid to make eye contact as well. With themselves.
Yeah, because they don't want you to see it. Like what?
And some people feel like if you looking at them, you can see through them. But I think sometimes you can.
Yeah.
With me,
Sometimes you have good discernment though. And I know I do. Sometimes I'll be okay. I don't want to see that creator. Like take that back.
That's my gift. I always have been. I'd be like, dang. I feel like I can know stuff without you telling me. It's just yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Acceptance is hard.
Acceptance. And even awareness, because again, oh no, it was such and such that I was dating, or it was because of my mom did or said this, or like you are the common denominator. And I remember us saying that in another conversation, but it's like to make change, it starts with you.
Yep, for sure. It
starts with you.
You want to see something different, you have to do something different.
Yeah, unapologetically.
Yeah.
Yep. So if that means you need more than 30 minutes when you come home, then communicate with your partner how much time you actually need, but don't get stuck in that favorite chair or silent space. Like you have to be able to activate and rejoin your family because your family needs you too, but we also want to give you what you need.
But don't take 30 minutes when you need more and then be resentful.
Right. And don't be scrolling on internet. I mean, I can't tell you that.
I mean, for some people,
my question would be that you're taking that time to take that time to do something else productive.
I can't because April keep posting.
Y'all do be going at it.
I'll be like, do I get in this rabbit hole or not?
I mean, the point is to have comments. So I mean, I think
it is.
I need to see Doc more. I mean, she won't be joining us in our comments.
I looked at that I can't even remember what it was under. I was like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna respond.
Exactly.
We want to hear your thoughts.
I
see a couple more guys coming out saying things.
Exactly. It brought some new faces or new.
A couple guys came out.
That's good.
A couple things.
That's wonderful. Good. That's really good.
I thought that was really good.
And I got a question for us, but that's for the green room. That was somebody who was, I'm not sure if they're still listening and joining the conversation, but if they are, I have received your request and I'm going to take it to the green room to see what we could do. What we could do
about it. Yeah. All right now. We like that. We definitely want your feedback.
We do.
Yes.
And suggestions. That's very, very helpful. Because as we come into your living room, kitchen, or hotel and AC for $5 a night, whichever it is, we want to make sure that
in AC.
What happened?
We should do our next show in AC.
Oh,
we got access.
Yeah, soon as Rona leaves.
I mean, say the word.
So who trying to get in the hotel room? That's what I hear.
But
we got resources. We got resources.
Not for that.
I can't really put the resources out there, but I'm just saying we got resources.
Yeah,
out there like saying that.
Some people call me a resource.
You know what?
That's why your jacket is still on. Yes.
He's lying.
Oh man.
All right, party people, y'all got closing statements because y'all about to go left.
That's green room.
Y'all about to go left. Yes, before we can even make it to the green room. They not ready for what happens in the green room yet. Closing thoughts to the conversations. What would you want someone to take away from all that we have poured into them in regards to recognizing what could be blocking their relationships, blocking their personal growth, and just their intimacy with life? Like, remember, we started intimacy. So what is it if they put the mirror in front of them and they had into themselves see? What do we want to share with them?
I mean, self-reflection. Self-reflection is key. It's scary sometimes. It's hard sometimes. But, you know, even if you don't want to dive in and go to therapy or, you know, take a long time to do it, every now and then, you know, taking a look at what's going on around you and in your life, and especially in your relationships, can be very helpful for you to see these things so that you can start to address them.
What I took away from today was for men, you know, to not let our ego get us into turning silent. You know, we actually cause more problems by being silent. So the quicker we can kind of come to our partner and say, hey, look, this is going on. Can you, you know, come with me, or whatever the case may be, that may help a lot of problems down the road. You know, things might not, that silence or your avoidance may be misconstrued as something else. And that, like I said, that just causes other problems. So we have to start just dropping some of that hardness that we're supposed to have and just be a little bit more verbal.
Okay.
So it's not just men, it's women as well, because as we've already touched on, we have our moments, we have our periods of changes that impact our behaviors and blockers for intimacy. So we need to, like Doc says, do a self-reflection and just take a moment to see you know, how we can make those changes. That's all.
Okay. I agree. Kim?
I would just say just know yourself and give you and your partner some grace and try to work through it. Piece by piece.
Piece by piece.
Piece by piece. It's not overnight, but piece by piece.
Right.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't evolve or develop overnight. So you got to really, you know, just take a moment to take that inventory. Yep. All righty. Is that it? We done sipping and chatting?
We done for tonight.
Right. Well, Doc said it. That means we done. Because we can easily start. You know, all we gotta do is have April and Daryl start up another conversation, and then we'd be here for a whole nother battle.
Then I got just making looks.
It's a love battle.
If she would just listen, we'll be fine.
You know, okay.
Ooh.
All right.
We're ending this conversation, right?
Oh God, if she would just listen. Until next week, family, we will see you. Thank you if you stay with us live. Thank you for joining us from AC from the $5 to Holler Room. Thank you for catching us on the replay and even the people on YouTube. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.